Hi, welcome back to another Crypto Dave video. So today I'm going to be doing a video on how you can buy Bitcoin or indeed certain other kind of cryptocurrencies using two different providers. So a little bit different to our usual video. So I'm going to be comparing BC Bitcoin, who are based here in the UK, with Coinbase. This is the BC Bitcoin site. This is Coinbase, who most people will be familiar with. Now, I have set up accounts with both of these providers. So Coinbase, I've had an account for quite a while. I did need to remove my bank account from their system and re-add it. I think it's because they actually then they have had their UK bank account removed, and then they've sort of got UK banking services through a different provider. So I think that's why I had to go through that process of removing my bank account and re-adding it. And then BC Bitcoin, I actually signed up for an account yesterday. Now, for full transparency, BC Bitcoin reached out to me a few weeks ago. They were interested in maybe doing an interview or something like that on the channel where they could talk a little bit more about what they're doing. So I'm hoping to do that in the next kind of week or so. But what I wanted to do before I actually kind of speak to them is actually I wanted to use their platform. So they don't know I'm doing this particular video. They're not paying me for this video. It's not a sponsored video or anything like that. But what I wanted to do was kind of go through their kind of system, see how it kind of worked. I did do a little bit of research before agreeing to kind of have an interview with them. So I know at least one person who's actually sold some crypto through them, and they do have quite a decent kind of reputation. Got some really good reviews on Trustpilot and stuff like that. But before I did the kind of interview, I wanted to kind of actually use their platform, see what it's like, and then that might spark some more questions to ask them when I actually hopefully do an interview with someone from BC Bitcoin in a couple of weeks. So I just wanted to make that clear, but it's not a promotional video, it's not a paid video or anything like that. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to be buying Ethereum. Both of these platforms offer a variety of coins now, an increasing variety. I remember when Coinbase only offered 2 or 3 different kind of coins, but it offers a lot more now, and BC Bitcoin also offer a lot more. So I can go through those a little bit more detail, but I'm going to be buying Ethereum today. I could do with another couple of Ethereum or so for when the staking starts, hopefully early 2020. So what I'm going to be doing is buying £150 worth of Ethereum on both the platforms. And then sort of comparing how easy it is. Also, obviously, what kind of commissions and stuff like that they take. So I imagine the commissions and also the selling price. So it's not just commissions with some of these kind of platforms, but also the price that they're actually selling you Ethereum at. So what I'm going to do is buy £150 worth of Ethereum on both platforms. I do it basically, as similar time as I can for both of them. So I'll do one after the other, so the price is fairly similar. And then we'll see how quickly the purchase arrives in our wallet, and indeed how much we actually receive. So that's the plan today. I might need to pause the video from time to time if I happen to put in sensitive information or anything like that. As I said, I signed up for a BC Bitcoin account last night. You do need to go through the KYC. So excuse me, because it's a financial on and off ramp from the sort of traditional financial sector, you need to put in your do the KYC. So basically know your customers. You have to write a bit of paper to say that you've accepted their KYC, and then upload, I think it's photo ID, so it's a passport, driving license, stuff like that. Very similar to many other on and off ramps. Anyway, so without further ado, let's jump straight in. We'll start with BC Bitcoin, and let's go in and see how easy it is to buy coins. I've never done this before with BC Bitcoin, so we'll be doing this pretty much live. So if we go to buy coins, select our coins, so Ethereum, we're going to be using a bank transfer, and we want to spend £150. So we have a transaction cost of £6 and a fee of £2. Fee for the service, transaction, exchange rate, and execution fee. So that's £8. Seems reasonably high, not crazy. The current price £137.03, so we'll see how that compares. I am going to just copy this wallet address in here. There's no other information that we need. I'm not being referred by anybody, so let's go to the next step. Select currency, GBP. So you can obviously pay it in euros as well. So let's see what the next step does. Okay, so we now need to log into our account. Should have probably done that before. So we've got an order confirmation here. Ethereum 150. Here's the different fees. fees rather, 142 to spend on coins, and then you agree the different terms and conditions and proceed to payment. So far quite straightforward. We've recently changed our bank account information, so I presume if you've been using the system before, make sure you don't send it to the old one. So accept that. And then these are the details we are going to be making. So what I will do is pause the video very briefly. I'll log on to my online banking. I'll make that payment. Okay, so I've just sent the payment via my online banking. There's a payment reference, so make sure you just read all the information. So I'm just clicking that, confirm that I've sent that. Order success. So my order is whatever and my payment reference is. We'll check our account for the payment to receive. As soon as it's received, we'll complete the order. And then you receive a notification via email. So they've got some sample time. So they're saying UK instant payments, which is what I'm using. It's really good, the instant payment system here in the UK. So if you're sending between compatible bank accounts, the payments pretty much arrive immediately. So I don't know how frequently they check their incoming kind of bank account, but it says here instant payment usually within 2 hours. In my experience, it's usually within a few minutes. So hopefully that won't take too long. We'll jump straight over and do the same thing now with Coinbase. So I think I'm going to have to sign in with Coinbase. Just pause the video quickly and do that. So we're logged into our Coinbase account now. Haven't got a lot in. There's a few pounds. We had to put a £2 test transaction when we first set up our bank account, which went in, so I can remove that. And I also received, I think it was some Stellar a couple of days ago from the Coinbase Earn program. I've talked about that previously, but somebody obviously followed my affiliate link, so I received just under £8 worth of that. So the first thing we need to do is credit our account. So we're going to just send a deposit of £148 because we put £2 in before, so that will take us up to our 150, and then we'll buy some Ethereum. So what I'm going to do is pause the video again until I've done the transfer via my local bank, and then I'll come back in and we'll buy the Ethereum. Okay, so I've made the transfer. The reference number with Coinbase always seems to stay the same for me. Obviously double check that each time if you are actually kind of making a transfer, but I've done the transfer now, so I'm just going to click this button to say that the transfer has been made, and then we just have to sit and wait on both of the different accounts until the money is credited. So with our BC Bitcoin one, because we put our Ethereum address in already, that should be purchased and then sent straight through to our Ethereum wallet. With Coinbase, we need to credit it to our UK or GBP bank account within the platform, and then once that's credited, we then have to go on to buy the kind of Ethereum. So it's like a kind of two-step process. But what I would do is pause for now. Hopefully both of those will go through reasonably quickly, and then we can get on with the next stage of the process. So literally just a few minutes later, so that took about 5 minutes for Coinbase to send me a confirmation email that the money had been received. I actually sent 150 rather than the 148, bit of a mistake on my part, but I will only buy £150 worth of Ethereum. So we're going to go and do that now. So you just click on the trade button, select the coin you want to buy, so Ethereum, and then GB wallet, we want to buy £150. So we can preview the purchase. By 1.06569940 Ethereum. So we will click buy now. You can see here the price 137.95. So I think it was 137, a fraction lower than that on BC Bitcoin. So we'll see what we end up with, but very similar within I think £1 in terms of the price. They're now saying there's a Coinbase fee of $2.99, so from our 150 it's gone down to 147. That looks maybe a slightly more expensive, but then the fees, only £3 fees, and it was £8 altogether with BC Bitcoin. So we'll see what happens at the other end, how much Ethereum we're going to get out of it. So we'll click buy now. And this is where the platforms differ slightly. So orders submitted will send you an email when the order status updates. So I imagine that will come through pretty quickly. But this is where the platforms differ. With BC Bitcoin, they don't actually hold any of the crypto you buy. You have to put in your your wallet address. So if we go back to the buy coins page, you can see here towards the bottom you have to put in your wallet address. So need help setting up a wallet, please contact us and we will be pleased to assist you. Have noticed a few times since I've been on the site, this sort of online help thing has popped up a couple of times asking me if I need any information. I think the thing that I liked about BC Bitcoin, or I like about the idea of BC Bitcoin, is that they're actually only based about half an hour up the road from me, but they do have support people that you can get hold of all the time. Now, I haven't had any issues with my Coinbase, but I think it's like a lot of things. It's almost like kind of like insurance or something like that. You don't know how good a company is until you need to kind of contact them about some kind of issue. And there are numerous posts about people having issues with kind of Coinbase and not being able to get hold of support, anything like that. You can't just call someone up, unfortunately. You have to go through their kind of help desk system. Now, as I said, I haven't had any issues myself. If you're just buying small amounts, it's probably not going to be a massive worry for you. But if you are selling, say, thousands, tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of kind of crypto, say during the next kind of bull run you want to take some profits near the kind of top, you might be selling 50 grand's worth of Bitcoin or something. I'd be more worried then about it just getting stuck in the system somewhere and then not being able to get hold of some kind of support person or anything like that. So that, I think, has always been the slight worry with me with Coinbase. When I first started using them back in 2017, they didn't have UK banking, which was a bit of a kind of hassle. So if you wanted to buy with anything other than a debit or credit card, you had to do SEPA transfers. You had to set up international, basically it's an international transfer from the UK into euros into their account, I think, which was based in Estonia at the time. They then signed a deal, I think it was with Barclays, and we had all these good facilities, so the faster banking. They then lost that bank account, and then it went you had to go back to kind of SEPA. Now they seem to have got a new one. I think they're with Clearbank or someone like that now, so it's a different provider to before. But that was always what kind of worried me. I think particularly back when it was the SEPA transfer things, a lot of people then had like Revolut accounts, so they would have UK and Euro accounts in Revolut. They'd withdraw the money to their Revolut account, then they'd transfer it from euros to pounds sterling, then they'd withdraw from that to their UK bank accounts. And the whole thing was a bit of a palaver. So the fact they are now have UK banking and faster transfers again is great, and it's something that BC Bitcoin obviously have as well. You've got SEPA transfers if you want them, not that I would, but UK faster payments. Both providers also offer you to buy with debit and credit cards. I think Coinbase is debit and credit cards. Some banks are a bit dodgy about you using kind of credit cards. Some banks will block credit card purchases. But we have now bought our Ethereum. I think I'm hearing that email, those beeping in the background is actually the Ethereum coming through. So if we go to our account here, you can see this is now completed. It doesn't say the actual amount of Ethereum in this particular one. If we go to our Ethereum wallet, you can see here 1.0656, £147.01. So we will compare that. What I'm going to do is pause the video now, and then I'm going to wait until the money comes through from, or the Ethereum rather comes through from BC Bitcoin, and then we can compare the prices, and I can just wrap up what I think about purchasing through the two different systems. So I'm back now. In the time it took me to actually log into my Coinbase Pro account, move the Ethereum from Coinbase to Coinbase Pro, and then withdraw it from Coinbase Pro into my wallet, I actually received the Ethereum from BC Bitcoin. So in conclusion, both of them were fast and efficient. I think the two, probably the main difference between the two platforms. So with BC Bitcoin, you have to, when you buy your Bitcoin, you have to send it to a local wallet. So if we go to the buy Bitcoins, you can see here, you have to put your wallet address in. They won't hold coins for you, which is very different to Coinbase, where by default all your coins get held on their platform. So catering in some ways maybe to two slightly different users. I'm very much of the opinion not your keys, not your coins. I always like to hold my coins on my local wallets, on hardware or software wallets. I do hold some coins on exchanges for trading and other bits and pieces, but generally I like to hold my coins where I actually own the private keys. Now that's very different from Coinbase and BC Bitcoin. Now if you were a complete newbie, the idea of Coinbase might be very appealing. To be able to have someone else hold your coins. You don't need to worry about setting up a wallet and stuff like that. But if you are interested in crypto, I would really advise you to go beyond what Coinbase are doing. And even if you're using Coinbase to kind of purchase coins, make sure you then move them off of their platform and into your local wallets. But I suppose in terms of speed, both very quick. I did the transfer for BC Bitcoin probably about 5 minutes before I did the purchase for Coinbase, and I received my Ethereum probably about 5 minutes before the Coinbase one. So Coinbase's coins arrived pretty much instantaneously in their wallet, but by the time I'd actually then moved them into Coinbase Pro and then out to my local wallet, probably took a similar amount of time. So I'd say probably a draw in terms of the speed and convenience of the platforms. Both of them have pretty decent kind of sign-ups. The one thing that I mentioned at the kind of beginning that I like about BC Bitcoin as opposed to kind of Coinbase, well, there's two things actually now. Firstly, the fact that there's a phone number at the bottom of the page there that you can call them. They have a WhatsApp number here. There's online chat, so you can get hold of them pretty easily. I actually kind of called up the line and actually put it down, so apologies for that, just to see if anybody would kind of pick up on how quickly they would, and I got through to somebody straight away. Now that potentially is very different from Coinbase. I've never had issues with Coinbase, but when you do have issues, you hear these horror stories online. Now it may well be just because there's such a big player in the industry that there's a lot more kind of like customers, and therefore a lot more chance of there being bad customers. But I suppose the question that everybody will want to know is: we bought £150 worth of Ethereum with both platforms. Which is the best value? And on the face of it, when we first went through it, the fees on BC Bitcoin were a lot higher than Coinbase's. So Coinbase were quoting £2.99 in fees, and BC Bitcoin were quoting, I think it was £6 fees plus £2. So it was £8 compared to £2.99. But interestingly, when the money actually was received, I'll just move my wallet over here. So this was our input from BC Bitcoin 1.096994, and this was our payment in from Coinbase 1.06569994. So you can see we actually received more Ethereum from BC Bitcoin. So we paid £150 for both. We actually got more from BC Bitcoin, despite the fact that its upfront costs seemed to be higher. So that's what's quite disappointing with Coinbase. And I've seen this before. They will quote you a price on the front page of their site here. Look, so this is their front page. We're just looking now. It's now quoting £136.23 for Ethereum. That's just not accurate. When we actually went to the buy page, it was quoting 137 something, and then what we actually kind of received was a slightly less than that. So despite the fact that its fees on the outward side, or sort of like at initial look lower than BC Bitcoin, but BC Bitcoin, its 8% is seemingly a genuine 8%, and the actual exchange rate for Ethereum is better on that platform. So neither of them were awful. Both of them, relatively close to each other. But if you're buying large amounts, you want to make sure that you're getting every little bit you can. I don't know whether with larger volumes, something like BC Bitcoin, you may well be able to go to them and ask them for kind of discounts. I'm not sure if that's a possibility. As I said, in a couple of weeks, hopefully I'm going to sit down and do an interview with them, and I can ask them about some of these questions. The other thing I did notice is if you go to buy coins, I'd say the Coinbase site is a bit more professional and looks a little bit better than the BC Bitcoin site, just in my opinion. But I did notice on the bank transfer, you just put in how much you want and it gives you the transaction cost. If you go to the debit credit card, it works slightly differently. You put in the amount and then it kind of like converts it automatically to Ethereum, but it doesn't have those transaction fees listed. So that's something that's a bit strange. I might ask them about. If you have questions for BC Bitcoin, let me know in the comments below, and I will ask them when I get around to doing the interview, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. Hopefully this was useful for you. I'm not advising one platform over the other. I'm not advising you indeed to go out and buy Bitcoin or buy cryptocurrencies. This isn't financial advice, anything like that. And in the description below, I do have links to both providers. They are affiliate links, so if you are interested in buying through either of them, if you use my affiliate links, that's fantastic. I think we both get a small amount. I think with Coinbase, it's if you buy like $100, you get like $10 free or something like that. And I think with BC Bitcoin, I get a very small commission as well. So just for the sake of transparency, the links below are affiliate links, but you don't obviously have to use those. If there are other providers or other sources of crypto kind of purchasing you'd like me to kind of look at, let me know in the description below. But always nice to hear from you. So leave me any kind of comments, leave me your thoughts below, and I will do my best to respond to them as quickly as possible. If you can give me a thumbs up, that's fantastic. Really helps other people find the videos and really helps the channel. Thanks very much for watching as always, and have a great day. Bye bye.